Those officials thought that Pilgrim's son was only jesting, but he said to them, "Sirs, please keep my master company by sitting here for a moment. 8 rules, Sha monk, take care to stand guard. I'll be back soon. Dear great sage." He vaulted through the door and rose immediately into the air. All that the people could see were colored mists everywhere shrouding the house. The sky's hallowed air shielding primal spirit. When they finally realized that this was an immortal who could mount the clouds and ride the fog, a sage who could bring life out of death, they all burned incense to worship. There we shall leave them for the moment. With a series of cloud somersaults, that great sage went to the region below and crashed right into the Hall of Darkness. So startled were they that 10 Yama kings, hands joined, saluted him. 5 quarters ghost judges kowtowed to him. Sword trees, 1,000 stalks, were all askew. Dagger hills, 10,000-fold, were all made plain. Goblins were saved in the wrongful dead city. Ghosts were redeemed by the no-option bridge. Truly, like heaven's reprieve was one beam of divine light. The whole region of darkness now turned bright. The 10 Yama kings received the great sage. After having exchanged greetings, they asked the reason for his visit. Pilgrim said, "Which one of you took away the soul of Ko Hong, the person who fed the monks in the numinous earth district of the Bronze Estrade Prefecture? Find out instantly and bring him to me. Ko Hong is a virtuous person," said the 10 Yama kings. "We did not have to use a ghost guardian to summon him. He came by himself, but when the golden-robed youth of King K. Itagarba met him, he led him to see the king." Pilgrim at once took leave of them to head for the Jade Cloud Palace, where he greeted the Bodhisattva King K. Itagarba and gave a thorough account of what took place. In delight, the Bodhisattva said, "It was foreordained that Ko Hong should leave the world without touching a bed or a mat when his allotted age reached its end. Because he had been a person of virtue who fed the monks, I took him in and made him the secretary in charge of the records of good karma. Since the great sage has come to ask for him, I shall lengthen his age by another 12 years. He may leave with you." The golden-robed youth led out Ko Hong, who, on seeing Pilgrim, cried out, "Master! Master! Save me! You were kicked to death by a robber." Said Pilgrim, "This is the place of the Bodhisattva King K. Itagarba in the region of darkness. Old Monkey has come especially to take you back to the world of light, so that you may give your testimony. The Bodhisattva is kind enough to release you and lengthen your age for another 12 years. Thereafter, you'll return here." The squire bowed again and again. Having thanked the Bodhisattva, Pilgrim changed the soul of the squire into ether by blowing on him. The ether was stored in his sleeve so that they could leave the house of darkness and go back to the world of light together. Astride the clouds, he soon arrived at the Ko house. 8 rules was told to pry open the lid of the coffin, and the soul of the squire was pushed into his body. In a moment, he began to breathe once more and revived. Scrambling out of the coffin, the squire kowtowed to the Tang monk and his 3 disciples, saying, "Masters! Masters! Having suffered a violent death, I am much obliged for this master's arrival at the region of darkness and returning me to life. His is the kindness of a new creation." After thanking them repeatedly, he turned and saw all the officials standing there. Touching his head to the ground once more, he asked, "Why are all the venerable fathers in the house? Your sons at first filed a complaint of loss," replied the magistrate, "which accused the sage monks by name. I sent people to arrest them, not realizing that the sage monks on their journey had run into those bandits who murdered you and robbed your house. They took back your possessions and were about to send them back to your home in person. My subordinates arrested them by mistake, and I sent them to jail without careful examination. Last night your soul made an appearance, and my deceased uncle also revealed himself at our home. The wandering spirit, too, made a descent into the district. All these epiphanies at one time led us to release the sage monks, after which that particular one went to bring you back to life. Remaining on his knees, the squire said, "Venerable father, you have truly wronged these 4 sage monks. There were some 30 bandits that night who broke into our house with torches and rods. When they took away our belongings, I couldn't bear it and tried to reason with the thieves. One of them killed me with a kick at my lower parts. These 4 had absolutely nothing to do with the crime." Then he summoned his wife and sons into his presence to say, "Didn't you know who kicked me to death? How dare you file false charges? I'm going to ask the venerable father to convict you." All the family members, old and young, could only kowtow at that time, but the magistrate was magnanimous enough to pardon all of them. Ko Hong then ordered a banquet to thank this great kindness of the prefecture and the district, but each of the officials returned to his official residence without lingering. The next day, the squire once more displayed his plaque announcing his desire to feed monks and wanted to entertain Tripitaka some more. Tripitaka, however, steadfastly refused to stay, whereupon the squire invited his relatives and friends and prepared banners and canopies to send off the pilgrims as he had done before. Lo, truly, the wide earth may harbor vicious affairs, but high heaven will a good man vindicate. Footloose they're safe on Tathagata's way, certain to reach Mount Spirit's paradise gate. We do not know what will become of them when they see Buddha. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter.